What separates high achievers from the rest? How can someone go from being broke to wealthy beyond their dreams? From being fat to a world-class athlete? From being underconfident to being in absolutely tremendous mental shape? Jay Potic is a corporate professional turned author, speaker, and coach. Throughout his professional and entrepreneurial career of over 14 years, he's impacted 50,000 plus lives across 7 countries. Join him as we take a closer look at the stories and methods of ordinary people who've achieved extraordinary results regardless of the difficult circumstances we all face in life. Welcome to the Alpha X Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Alpha X Podcast. This is Jay Parekh here, and today is going to be a very interesting episode of the Alpha X Podcast, especially if you have interest in one of two things. The first is martial arts and fitness, and the second is if you're interested in dialing in your mindset for success. I have somebody who is a very amazing personality in the world of Jiu-Jitsu. He's had 22 years of practice and is a 4th-degree BJJ black belt. He's also a NoGi Grappling Brazilian Nationals runner-up, and he's also got a master's degree in physical education. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to fitness, when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts. And he's been my mentor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. But apart from all of that, you know, what you'll really be surprised in the course of this conversation, in the course of this discussion, is, you know, how much of an understanding this man has on the mindset behind martial arts and how that mindset can be useful in any area of your life. You know, it doesn't matter, even if you're not a martial artist, but let's say you're an entrepreneur, or let's say you're, you know, a high-performing individual, a high-performing professional. Well, you know, you love this episode because the lessons that you learn in sports, you know, on martial arts, you know, on the mat, these lessons carry over in all areas of your life. And, you know, this is why I'm a big believer that, you know, everyone should practice martial arts. But that's just me. That's just the way that I, you know, that's my opinion. But anyway, I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time listening to, you know, Professor Carlos. He's an amazing influence. He's got some brilliant stories. And without delaying, let's get right into it.
Hello, everyone. We are here again with the Jiu-Jitsu Cafe Podcast. And as you know, today my super guest is Jay Parekh. How are you doing, Jay?
I am doing fantastic, Professor. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for accept my invitation.
The pleasure is all mine. It's a privilege to be on your show.
Okay, great. Jay, I actually like to starting the podcast asking the people the origins, the childhood and teenager time. For the people who listen us, knows and start to contact with my guests. Can you do that for us?
I would love to. So, you know, Professor, I don't think we've ever really spoken about, you know, my childhood. And you know, we met with Team Relentless when you were there teaching us, and you know, I've been training over there for the last, I don't know, about 4 years now, and you know, the reason, in fact, that I got attracted to martial arts is because of the experiences that I've had in my childhood and in my teenage years. So I've always been somebody, you know, since childhood, I was always weaker, as a child compared to other people, other kids, other boys, and I was always bullied, and I mean I had very bad immunity. I didn't really take care of my health very much, and always had a slightly difficult time growing up. And I've always had that a burning desire inside of me to be strong, to be able to take care of myself, to be able to protect the things that are near and dear to me. And my journey into martial arts actually started with karate when I think I was about 12 years old. In fact, that's when I went to Australia for the first time to compete in an Asia Pacific tournament. And That's when my love affair with martial arts started. And I've always had like this thought in my head, why am I so weak? Why am I so small? Why am I so bullied? Why do I fall sick so easily? What's wrong with me? And But instead of maybe shying down and kind of accepting that circumstance, I really wanted to change it. And since childhood, I've been after that. I've been working towards that to become a man that I can be proud of. Because for me, my only male role model growing up was myself. My father. I mean, he's been there, but he's had his challenges, and we've never seen eye to eye. So I've had to kind of depend on myself for that, and that's been my childhood.
Oh, great, great. I can understand. I can get your point. Also, I had a student here around 10 years ago from Kids BJJ, and he also had a lot of problems, a lot of issues on his childhood. Uh, to imagine, he still pee on his bed at 11 years old. So
Wow.
after 1 year and a half to playing with us, his mother came and talked to us after a session. I guess he is already yellow belt at that time. No, no, no. He's a gray belt.
Wow.
And she started to crying by positive emotionally, because she said he's another kid right now. The jiu-jitsu really improved his mental toughness. The BJJ really be him strong kid, no strong by getting a lot of muscles or anything like this, but to be mentally prepared to all challenges, and this become my really gift. And then I start to keep motivate him. And I guess we met each other like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, before this pandemic situation happens.
Mm-hmm.
And he reminds me, because now he's a grown man. I didn't know himself. And he said, "Oh, hello, professor. I'm here." I said, "Oh, how are you doing?" Blah blah blah. Man, it's priceless. It's priceless. So of course I'm not with you on that time, but I can understand a little bit which kind of things you pass over.
I mean, jiu-jitsu is such a beautiful sport, and that's exactly what it does. It teaches you how to accept an uncomfortable situation. Because sometimes when you're, in a difficult position, and you're getting mauled by the other person, and you have no option but to accept, keep your cool, and do your best, and use your technique. And that's exactly how it is in life. Sometimes life is just on top of you, and it's giving you a hard time, and you have to accept. You can't resist, because if you resist, you'll get hurt. Just like in jiu-jitsu, if you resist, you'll get hurt. You
Yeah.
have to accept.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, bro.
and i
Absolutely
and i
agree.
and I feel like you have so much more to teach me in that regard, because you've been doing this for I think more than 20, 22 years, and I just can't wait to get back on the mat and get you back over here with us and train with you. In fact, I would really love to know a little bit about maybe what is your experience with dealing with adversity. If you could also tell me, share with me, because I'd love to learn about this from you, especially for the listeners from my podcast.
Yeah, of course. I'm huge thankful you did this question to me because I had, I guess it's an interesting story about this. When I was white belt, I
Mm-hmm.
guess with one or two stripes, I was bad BJJ player.
Mm-hmm.
On my six first months, I just know to pull to my guard, close guard, and try to choke on the simple one. That's
Mm-hmm.
my only technique on that time. And as soon as I finished the session, I went to the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
and there, before I step in, I heard two guys, blue belts at that time, talking about the session. And then they said my name and another guy name. And they said, oh, these guys really don't have any future in BJJ because they are weak. They are really don't understand the techniques, can't apply properly and this and that. And I turn and get back to the mat, wait them leave, and then I go to the locker room. And when I left, I said, okay, so that's my challenge. I want to understand BJJ, not only techniques, but I didn't know all the philosophy on that time with 6 months, 7 months of training, right? Uh, and this become my challenge. I want to know BJJ 101%. And it's not about to be a world champion or be beat all the guys on the training session. I want to be a professor on that art, and I want to spread the knowledge because because they are just two blue belts, but maybe they are right on that time. And if I can spread my knowledge, anyone can learn jiu-jitsu.
Amazing. I mean, I've had such a similar experience, not with jujitsu, but when I first started working on my body, I was just 15 years old, 14 years old, and I remember I went to the gym, and we have the trainers over here. They will write a program for you, and you are supposed to follow that program. So for the first 1 or 2 months, I was given machines to work on, and then after that, for the first time ever, my trainer, he told me to do push-ups. And I remember, this is a very clear memory for me, and something very similar happened. I went down and I said, okay, now I'm going to do push-ups. And Professor, I could not even do one push-up, And I remember there were a group of boys slightly older than me, maybe about, I think about 7 or 8 feet away, and they were chuckling and they were laughing, and I know they were laughing at me, you know. And in that day, I thought in my mind, you know what, I am not going to be weak. I decided to take, as you said, take it up as a challenge, and from that day onwards, I think there was a fire inside of me, a kind of dedication to do whatever I can, whether it's training, it's strength and conditioning, whether it's my stamina, it's my power, whether it is jujitsu, martial arts, my mindset. I was going to work on it all to be the best version of myself, and that's I think my journey actually started from there to kind of become everything I can be.
Right. And also, I was listening your podcast, and you really give me a huge example of mindset, because I'm actually on next month I will be 22 years practicing BJJ with maybe one or two gaps only because of surgeries, but nothing really big, And I practice every day, Sunday to Sunday, Sunday to Sunday. And the people said, "Man, you never be tired or injury or something." I said, "Yes, of course." But that's my love. How could I stop this if I didn't broke something really big, or if I want to do something. And then became this quarantine times, and it's really bad, man. It's really bad. I really miss BJJ, not just drills on my home, or do some moves with my son or even my daughter, because it's not the same. It's not what my body needs. But
Yes.
I do. It's only this kind of things we can do on this COVID time. Okay, I will do. But it's really difficult to our mind to adapt on that matter, because BJJ was part of our life for so long, and then it's like, okay, they cut out my two legs and two arms and said to me, okay, run. It's no makes sense in my mind.
It
So
is.
when I was listening your podcast, you really give me a amazing advice. Thanks for that, by the way.
Thank you so much. I mean, I agree with you in the sense that it's just all about the mindset. And when we're practicing jujitsu, I feel that we go through so much pain, in a way. But it's a good kind of pain. It's a pain that helps us grow. And I think we're missing that feeling of growth, because the pain isn't there, and we're not overcoming that on a daily basis. We're not overcoming our injuries and working things around and pushing ourselves, and using our brains to kind of solve this jujitsu puzzle. Because for everyone who maybe has not done jujitsu live with another human being, actually rolled and sparred with another human being, it is a problem to be solved. And although you're kind of in a physical fight and altercation with another person, they're resisting with their full force and you're resisting with your full force. There is so much, I would say, intellectually problem solving that's involved. And when we're not doing that, we're not growing. We're not using the same brain muscles. And I think that's one thing that we miss so much. I know I do for sure. And it's a shame, but I think it's just like how in jiu-jitsu we adapt. This is a difficult time. Life has us down. But if anything, I think people in the jiu-jitsu community can come out of this with flying colors, because we know how it works. We know how to come out of a bad situation with and still turn it around and make it happen for us.
Exactly, exactly. And if you give me this permission, I want to add something, because many people having asked me, okay, you said you want to stay cool under pressure, cool under pressure. What that really means? Then I start to explain this additional thing. Diamonds will be making under pressure, and
Yes.
you need to feel this symbolism to understand. It's like the diamond have some kind of feelings, and then you smash and get better, and smash and it's get better. That's what the BJJ made for us and doing for us day by day. And then people start to understand properly about this.
That's brilliant, Professor. Actually, I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that and I'm going to use that when I talk to people, because that is such a excellent analogy, and it's absolutely how it works. We under pressure is when we become diamonds. You're not going to become diamonds by being comfortable and living a cushy life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Amazing, amazing. So how have things been otherwise for you? I mean, I know that the lockdown has been going on all over the world. How have things been for you?
Yeah, here is a little bit difficult because Brazilian people really don't respect the social distance, you know. Last weekend, an example, my neighbors did a barbecue over here. I can hear like 20, 25 different voices over there.
Wow.
So that means we are in really dangerous situation over here. But to to be honest, I have no regrets because all my family not impacted by the virus, all healthy, except one or another issue, but already exist before. It's not about COVID. And we are here. B and my wife stay inside the home, and he working by home. My kids have online classes, and that's it. Not so much to do, except about thinking and study and see a lot of videos and read a lot of articles about BJJ.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. And making use of that time. For me, I actually personally, I'll be honest with you, Professor. I'm not too worried about COVID. I'm not too worried about the virus because, I know I take care of my health, and I know that when it comes to my immediate family, I make sure that they take care of themselves. I know my father suffers from diabetes. I have a few other family members and even friends for that matter who don't have the best immune systems. They're going through some or the other problem, but I know that there's no point in worrying about it because worry is one of those things that actually makes the immune system weaker, you know and so the science behind it is that when you're worried, you release cortisol, and cortisol suppresses the immune response. And I don't think that it's going to help being worried, you know so I let's see what happens. I leave it to God. But from my side, I take care of my health. I exercise, I eat well, I try to sleep well. My sleep has not been the best in the lockdown, but I try to sleep well. I try to do whatever I can, talk to family, talk to friends, have a good laugh, be happy. This is what's been keeping me going, and my work.
Yeah, yeah, you are absolutely right. And this thing, I'm the same way than you. We treat our health in the best manner over here, but it's hard to see or to hear these situations. You know, like last weekend when I told you, because you see many people dying, and Brazil is unfortunately the second worst country dealing with this, and the people are celebrating. And it's not about okay, I'm against celebrations, but okay, respect this social distance as much as you can. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that's true. It cannot be, silly about this. Precautions must be taken. Unfortunately, I mean, I think I understand one thing, Professor, and I don't know if you agree with me or don't, but I know that to a certain extent, I'm not going to be, I can do my part. I can talk to people and let them know, what this is what is the right thing to do. And I personally believe that if we all, are collectively as a human species taking care of our health in the right way, COVID would not be an issue. Like if there was no diabetes, for example, I mean, I know that's very idealistic, But if people were to take care of their health and not overeat and exercise regularly and things like that, then that would not be an issue for most people. For some people, of course, genetically they have problem, but apart from that, from a lot of people, they bring it on themselves, by not taking care of their health, by not eating properly, by not managing their mindset and their emotions, by being stressed out all the time, and they bring it on themselves. And if we understand and practice being healthy from a mindset point of view, as well as from a body point of view, a health, just your the physical form of your body, and take care of all of these things. And it doesn't take much. I mean, if you exercise a few times a week, let's say 4 times a week or 5 times a week, you can be healthy. If you don't eat crap all the time, you can be healthy. You can still enjoy a little bit of your favorite food, but if you eat the right things all the time, like you're eating natural stuff, you're not eating a lot of fried stuff or sweet stuff. You can still do it sometimes, but it should it's not something that is happening all the time. As long as you're eating unprocessed food, your body, and you're making sure that you're eating a wide variety of stuff, your body is going to be pretty much able to deal with most things, and COVID would not be a problem. So I think that's my message to people. That's what I'm trying to do, helping people achieve that. And, that's my way of kind of taking control of this uncontrollable situation and feeling better about it. And apart from that, what people decide to do, how they decide to, act, whether they are observing social distancing or no, I try not to get upset about it too much, because we are social animals. We are going to come together and we are going to do whatever we are going to do. It's only going to we can only be isolated for so long. The whole world has been isolated for 3 months, and people are losing their minds. Like here in India, there was a guy, an actor, a very famous actor, who took his life about a week 10 days ago. He took his life. He committed suicide.
Yeah, I saw that, unfortunately, news here, uh, because I just, sorry to interrupt you, but I saw, because I follow the international news. I don't follow Brazilian news from here. Even
Mhm.
if I want some really good information about what is happening here, I start to search on the media who has people, professionals here, but don't host here, like uh, TV channels from Portugal, Turkey, Qatar, and these kind of things. Because here we have a little political situation on the media, even
Yeah.
TV, internet, journals, everything. So I escape, and it's good in another way, because I have access to lots of other news and other informations all around the world. And unfortunately, I got this news about this famous artist from India.
Yeah, and it's so sad, it is so sad, because I don't know. I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to really comment on what was going on in his mind, and what not. But the lockdown and social isolation also has consequences. You know, and I mean, if we have to, we have to. But I know when it comes to COVID, with the research and the numbers that are out there. This isn't me. I'm not giving medical advice over here. Of course, follow, for everyone who's listening, follow what your doctor says, because that's the person you should be looking at for medical advice. But it's just that with the way that I'm seeing people being affected, if we need to, there is a certain population that is very vulnerable, people who have compromised immune systems, people who are above the age of 65, are very, very vulnerable to this and need to be protected. But I think, a lot of people, if they just keep themselves, healthy. And it's not that difficult. I think it's all about the mindset. I think most people kind of give up. They just think, what, I can't be healthy. I can't resist my favorite food, or I can't exercise. I'm not meant to be somebody who's fit. I know I used to think this way for the longest time. I never accepted it, but it was a unconscious belief in the back of my mind, and it would keep me from really trying my hardest. you know and once that changed, so the first time, this is a very interesting story. If you don't mind, I'll go into it. But I actually became fit the first time I decided to enter myself into an MMA competition. So my first match, I was overweight, Professor. I was, like, I used to be a good, like, from when you saw me, I used to be a good 15, 16 kgs fatter, like literally fatter. So
Whoa.
yeah, I was not, I didn't look anything like what, you saw me. I was quite hefty. And I've been trying to lose weight for 10 years, and I tried everything. I tried diets, I tried this, different exercises, classes, been doing martial arts for a few years, even before that. This is before Team Relentless. And, I could not lose the weight. I just could not. And there was a belief in my mind, and I think a lot of people might relate. People keep trying different things and it doesn't work, and they try it for a while and it doesn't work, and they just think, oh, you know what, they give up, they put their hands in the air, and they say, it's not going to work for me. Like, maybe it might work for that guy and that guy and that guy, but I'm different. Every human being's different, and I'm different, and it won't work for me. And I used to think that way. I thought, I'm big boned. I thought, that I'm just not meant to be somebody, with a slim waist. I can't get abs. It's not possible for me. And I signed up for my first fight, and it was kind of a decision that I took in the heat of the moment. And I immediately regretted it because I was so scared. But then I started to train because, one thing about me is, if I give my word, then I will stick to it, you know. And that's always been the way that I am. For some reason, I have a very difficult time. Once I commit to something, I have to do it. And I said, I'm going to do it now that I've committed to it. I'm going to do it. So I started training, and I started training so much because I was scared. I was very, very scared of fighting, of being in the MMA ring. I was very scared. And I joke till this day, in 8 months in preparation for that fight, it was supposed to happen in 4 months, and it got delayed. Then it got delayed again. So finally it happened after 8 months after I agreed. But in 8 months, I lost, 15 kgs, 14 kgs, which is like around about almost 32, 33 pounds in 8 months. Things what I could not lose in 10 years, I did it in 8 months. And I joke that I literally scared the fat off of me. I literally scared it off of me. But what happened? But what happened was my mindset changed. I was not thinking about being big boned. I was not thinking about, this stuff, this will work for me, this will not work for me. I was very scared for my safety, for my well-being, for my life. Like, I was petrified. And every time I was not training, I was thinking my opponent is training. He's training and he's getting better, and I need to get better because I need to survive, and I need to do this. And I changed my focus, so my mindset changed. It changed from I can't do this to I don't have a choice. And I think that can be, so when I work with my clients now, what I do is I help them. I don't put them in the MMA ring, obviously, because that's very drastic. But I would do that if I had a choice. Actually, I wouldn't mind. Would be quite fun. But what I do is I follow a method of helping people change the way that they think, their belief systems, and I have a process to do that. And when they change their belief system, magic happens, because suddenly, the things that they could never believe they could do, they suddenly, that becomes a reality, and possibilities open up. And, that's when they actually change.
Yeah, yeah, I can't agree more. especially because on the fight scenario, even if you don't compete against another person, if you do just for a lifestyle or to be in shape, uh, you should be better every day. Here we have a kind of a joke, but it's a serious joke in Brazil. I don't even know if it makes some sense in English, but I will try. Uh, we usually say something like this. Uh, if I fight with me yesterday, I will kill myself, you know? It's
Oh yeah.
something like this. In Portuguese, I have some fun because the words have some good kind of sarcastic combination, but it's like this. It's kind of to be better 1% every day, something like this. And it's really huge on fighting because you're supposed to fighting against someone who probably you don't know which kind of training they take, right? Because
Right.
most of the times they are from another team. I hope so. uh,
Yeah.
and you never know. Oh, okay, I trained today. An example, a lot of wrestling. I wrestle a lot. I take down a lot of guys, a lot of repetitions, and a lot of variations. And on the next day, oh, okay, today I wrestle, but I wrestle on defense. I will try to escape from every takedown. And this is a long life path, you know. That's on my mind every day. That's why I'm a little bit pissed off with this COVID close everything
Yeah.
because we didn't training properly, like I said before. But uh, we know we can do more and more, and every day is a challenge. I don't know. In example, okay, today I want to do 100 sweeps for my right side and 100 sweeps to my left side. And personally, I start to do like this, you know, because it's a different challenge and you create stamina or you keep your stamina at least and you do something different to your body and to your mind to focus on. That's my point, because if we don't challenge ourselves every day, that's become lazy. And we because the final point is that the body looks for a plateau, you know,
Yeah.
because on plateau everything can be fine. Don't be alert, don't be anything, just chill and relax. But if you find kinds of situations you can challenge yourself, it's the best way.
I agree. I think it can be summed up like if you stop growing, like if you stop progressing, if you stop moving forward, then things don't remain the same. They actually, you will start shrinking. Your skill starts going down. As a human being, it's not that you will stay the same just because you've stopped progress. You've stopped working to progress. If you stop working to progress, things don't stay the same. You actually start dipping. You actually start getting worse. So there is no staying the same. There is no, change is constant. Either it's up or it's down. So I think every person has to decide whether they want to grow, they want to progress in their life, if that's something that they, and I think deep down everyone wants to do it. Nobody wants to get worse. It's just that sometimes it's so painful to grow that people have a hard time with it. But this is something that jujitsu teaches us, to embrace the pain, to embrace the discomfort. That's why I love jujitsu so much.
Yeah, me either, me either. Oh, brother, and I know you went on in Thailand for a training camp, and that's became part of this, right? Because nobody go to the other country for a fight camp, if for a training camp, sorry, if you don't try to be better in something, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, share your experience on Thailand with us, please.
So, I went to Thailand. So I remember I told you about my first mixed martial arts fight, how I, prepared for it and I got ready. And, it was a very funny experience, Professor, because when I reached the tournament, the guy that I was facing was about 17 kgs heavier than me. you
Whoa.
know yeah, he was a bigger guy, much bigger guy, like, and it was, I said, I'm not backing down. I prepared 8 months for this. Let's see. And I went in, and it was a slugfest. It was a slug. My grappling was absolutely terrible at that point in time. Remember, this was before Team Relentless, so I had zero wrestling. My jujitsu was pretty much, I was very passionate about jujitsu. I loved watching it, but my training in jujitsu was nowhere close to where it should have been, and my skill level was nowhere close to, applicable in a real fight. So, it was a slugfest, and you can imagine when you're slugging with somebody who's 17 kgs heavier than you. I got beat up pretty bad. I didn't go down. I didn't get knocked out. I did not quit, but I lost that fight. And when I saw the fight again, I said, I could have done better. I could have won. There, I just my grappling needs work, and so I started looking for ways to upgrade that. And at that time, I wasn't really familiar with Vicky Sir or Team Relentless. So I said, okay, you know what can I do? Where, how should I upgrade my grappling? Because I was craving to do it, to really experience real jiu-jitsu. So, I started looking around, and Thailand is not so far away from India. It's about 7 or 8 hour flight away. So you go to Malaysia, and then from there you catch another flight and you go to Thailand. And I started looking, and I saw Tiger Muay Thai, and I saw Phuket Top Team, and something about Phuket Top Team, I really liked. And the my teacher there was Professor Olavo Abru, and
He is
I
amazing. He is huge.
he's huge. He is, and I said, you know what? I want to see what this is all about. Yeah, it's going to cost me money. Yeah, it's I'm not going to be making any money while I'm there, but I want to experience this. I want to really upgrade my jujitsu and really and by the way, I had not trained in the gi, because training in the gi is not very common. Well, back then it wasn't very common in India. Now it's becoming more common. But back then it was, I'd never experienced a gi before. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going. Literally, I booked my ticket for the next month, and I went, and I was there for almost a whole month. And all I did was train jujitsu twice a day. Maybe I'll do a Muay Thai class, but my focus was grappling, and I would train every day almost, but and twice a day. And I can tell you that it was the most amazing experience, because my mind opened up when I did jujitsu. Like, there was, I had no concept of, what a guard should be like. I had no concept of, the proper wrestling mechanics, how to do a penetration step properly, or anything like that. How exactly do I take somebody down? It was all messed up. And when I went there, and I trained with Professor Olavo, and there's Eric Uresk, who is also a jiu-jitsu black belt. Back then, he was a brown belt, and he is an American wrestler. And Trevor McKenzie, who was also there assisting. And he's also an amazing fighter, an amazing, wrestler, American wrestler. And just learning from everybody over there, I was hooked. I'm like, wow. I always thought of myself as a striker before this, because my previous teacher in India has a base in Taekwondo and striking. So and I've always enjoyed boxing as the sweet science, but Once I experienced true grappling, true jiu-jitsu, I was hooked. I'm like, this is what I want to do. You know, this is what I'm really, really attracted to. Like I'm magnetically, I want to do. It doesn't matter if I'm tired, if I'm sore, if I'm injured. I need to be sure that I'm practicing jujitsu, because it was completely different from what I thought it was going to be. It was even better than what I experienced. So I learned a lot over there. But mostly I discovered my love for jiu-jitsu over there. That's what really happened. I don't know how much of what I learned I practice now because, I once I joined Team Relentless and under Vicky sir, I mean the way that he trains, he's very, very basics, fundamentals, and just doing it the right way. And I don't know how much of the techniques I remember, but the experience, the journey that I had into myself, into jujitsu, the love of the sport, pushing myself. It was a wonderful experience, and I met so many great people there as well. I'm still in touch with people who I met in Phuket top team 4 years ago. I am still in touch with them, and in fact, before the pandemic, we were planning to meet in Thailand again this year. Maybe that's not going to happen, but maybe next year we'll definitely we're going to meet. So it was wonderful. It was wonderful, Professor. I was I think everybody should, if they haven't, they should at least once go and experience something like that. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah. It's great. It's great. And Thailand, it's awesome. I was there before my last visit to India. I stopped 5 or 6 days in Thailand. Unfortunately, I can't go to Phuket because I had some seminars in Bangkok and also some training sessions. And I visit some places over there, just in Bangkok. But on my next time in Asia, if I have chance to go to Thailand, for sure I will go to Phuket because I have many guys who went there and said, "Man, you are a fighter and never be there. Stay in Thailand and never be there. Please go there." Then that's my plan. Also, this year, as you know, I start to planning in like 10 days, 2 weeks before my Asia trip started. This COVID closed everything, but uh, doesn't matter. On next year, I guess this will be happen. And if I go to Thailand, I'll be in Phuket for sure. And I can say really, really from the bottom of my heart, hello to some guys in Bangkok, if you don't mind. Adam, who was a black belt, third degree as well over there. Miss you, brother. Miss you a lot, irmão. And some of his students as well. He has amazing Q23 academy over there in Bangkok. Also, if you have chance when you go to Thailand to stay 1 or 2 days in Bangkok, go and train with him as well, bro.
I will. I will 100%, 100%. And when you go to Phuket, where we have Phuket top team, there's a whole stretch, a road, 1.5 kilometer that's just populated by gyms and fighters. And I'm telling you, Professor, that place is going to feel like heaven to you because it's just, at least it was for me, because everyone on that street is a fighter. You will meet less people over there who have never been in a professional fight or an amateur fight. Then everybody's been in a fight over there, so you feel like home. you know I know that in Brazil, jiu-jitsu is a huge part of the culture. In India, fight culture is not something which is huge. I mean, there are very few people who resonate, who understand what we do. They're like, why do you fight? What's wrong with you? That's yeah, that's how it is. What's wrong with you? And people don't understand what it gives. But I personally think every human being should learn how to fight. Vicky sir was there on my podcast, and I agree with him when he said that it's part of our instinct. It's part of who we are as human beings. Fighting is part of us. It's a dark
Exactly.
part of us. It's there, and it must be respected, and it must be nurtured. And there are so many lessons to be learned from fighting. It's not violence. It's about making sure that you have an ability, the power to influence and exert control physically in your environment, which is something that as men, I feel that's an important ability to have. And people here don't understand that. Here it's all about cricket, but and cricket's great and all, but there is definitely a need for men to get in touch with their physical, inner beasts, the god that lies within them. We call it the Shiva, or we call it the that darkness, that capacity to exert, to face death, and to exert some kind of force. So I think people don't get that, but oh my God, that place, you will love it, because everybody over there does, Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, or they're all fit, and they're all, fighters, and it feels like home. It feels like, oh yes, you understand me because you've done it as well.
Great, great. Just one thing will be too much dangerous for me when I be in Phuket on that place. Probably I'll start to think to move to there.
I definitely considered it. I think I was very, very upset when I came back home. When I came back to India, I'm like, oh my God, I want to go back. But I will go back, and maybe I will meet you there. When you're there, maybe we could figure out something, and I can actually see you there. That would be something we could do.
Perfect, perfect. We can plan this. It's oh, man.
And they have
If
great
you'll be
coffee
there
over
with
there,
me, it will
Professor.
be amazing.
I will. Let's plan it. Let's figure it out. And I was just saying that they have great coffee over there. Like they have some really nice cafes, and there's a coffee culture in Phuket as well, like artisan coffee.
Oh my God. So I'll be there with my best geese because I know I never be back to Brazil again. Definitely, definitely. Just one thing more, bro, about this. As you said, Vic sir mentioned our instincts, right? I usually say that every human being, doesn't matter, men or women, even kids, must do swimming
Yes,
properly. I mean, properly swimming, running, and fighting. You know why? Because at the end of the day, we are all animals. We are all animals. And we need to be this inside of us: swimming, running, and fighting. You know why? In my perspective, because uh, generation after generation, the human beings became lazy and became fat and it became with a poor mindset, and that can be changed just with these three things. Of course, with technology and modern stuff, all of us like to see an episode in Netflix or want to go to cinema when that's open. That's normal. But the huge problems of our society on the health matter can be cured if the people do these three simple things, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. And I think even from the emotional side of things, there is so much to gain when you know these three things, because it plays on your sense of competence, how much you believe you are capable of, as a human being. For example, for me, I'm a completely different person once I learned how to fight, because I was very unsure of my ability to protect myself and my loved ones, and that's not a doubt in my mind anymore. Like I know that if there's some guy threatening the life of people that are dear to me, um I don't know whether I'll make it, but I'll definitely take him out with me. You know, and this gives me a sense of s- satisfaction, security, knowing that I am capable. You know, and apart from that, when you know how to fight, you feel much more secure, much safer. There's a certain confidence as well, for especially again men. I feel that this is something that, not knowing how to fight kind of makes men kind of behave and with a false bravado, because they've never been in a fight, so they don't know. And there's in fact a study, or somewhere that I had read that there are two things that men think that they are great at when actually they're not. One is they think they are great in bed, and two is that they think that they're great at fighting, and that most men are not great at either of these two things. You know, so
But I'm
so
I'm I'm great in bed. I'm great in bed. You know why? Because I can be there and sleep for 12 hours in a row. I'm great in bed. On that way, I'm great.
So, but you know what I'm saying, like, the that that modesty comes from knowing how to fight. It's not that people become arrogant once they know how to fight. People become modest when they know how to fight, because they know what's at stake. They understand the danger. They respect it, you know. And when somebody doesn't know, and they can, oh yeah, I can do it. I can also. I'm a tough guy, and but they've never been in a fight, and that is just a mask that they're wearing, you know to help themselves feel better about their inadequacies. So I think as a man, it's very important to face that. And one way to face that is learning how to fight.
Agree. And also, when you know properly how to fight, you have a different peace of mind.
Yeah.
Everything can happen, and you still with your peace of mind. That's priceless, because you can analyze the situation, uh, you can act step by step on the situation, and you can be exactly that expression, cool under pressure. That's amazing, because an example, when we face some issue, doesn't matter in which field did that happen, we use even non-voluntary, we use what we learned in BJJ mats or in MMA mats to uh, build a strategy and get the things done. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. We're not in a panic situation. Typically, the biggest training that happens initially when we start as white belts, and I think I still, I'm just a blue belt. I'm still going through it in a way, but I've realized it, and I've, at least become conscious of the fact that we panic when we get into a difficult situation, and this is true in life as well. We panic. And when you panic, you cannot think, and there's no strategy. There's nothing that comes to your mind. You're just panicking and you're reacting. Instead, I think we learn how to respond. React instead of reacting. We must learn how to respond. That's the proper way of. That's the only way that people can overcome. And have control in a difficult situation, and that's something that martial arts has taught.